actually a while ago, when we found my daughter was really falling behind her peers in math. And we live in a somewhat rural area, so driving to a math learning center meant a 2-hour round trip plus any tutoring time. So that, on our already busy schedules, was a huge burden for us. But the need to get her with a tutor was clear, and we needed to figure it out. So then we had a complication too, where I actually was going through cancer treatment actually up until yesterday. And so I was not available in the ways that I wanted to be available to my daughter to help her, you know, get with a tutor or tutor her myself. So after I started looking at the beginning of the school year seriously, and then I quickly realized that I was going to need to find something local. But my experience with local tutors is that they were very, very expensive. We had gotten a tutor for my son, and it had been $95 an hour, and you know, he needed a couple sessions a week, and so that was a huge cost burden on us. So when I found Thinkster, I was immediately impressed by the interface and by the information provided to us up front. And I was also really intrigued with how affordable it was and the different levels of service that you could engage with Thinkster depending on what the needs are. So that's why I chose to start with the 7-day free trial. So that is what brought us to Thinkster. It was very affordable for us, and there was different levels of service that we could choose from depending on the needs. Very next thing that I noticed was that the language used in your marketing materials really resonated with me as far as creating a learner versus just getting the answers. You know, my daughter was very concerned with getting answers, and I was trying to impress upon her that it's not the answers, it's the steps to the answers that are important. And the way that Thinkster conveyed the learning models and the way that they treat each student individually really resonated with me. And then we also were interested in the fact that the use of technology and videos and the iPad was very desirable, because our daughter for sure loves spending time on the iPad, and anything she can do on the iPad is considered very fun, even if it is math. So I was intrigued by that, and I really liked all of the actual tools available within the worksheets. My daughter loves being able to change the color of her pen, erase things, write, draw. She writes little notes to her tutor on the worksheets. She loves the tools a lot, which makes her excited about going and completing that work, even though it's very difficult for her. So that's one thing that I noticed very different. The other thing I really noticed right away was reward of confidence that my daughter would get completing the worksheets. The way that they're graded and the way that the student advances through the worksheets is in a very supportive way. So even if an answer is wrong, the student is given the opportunity to go back and get it right. And it's shown that, you know, they did have to work extra on that problem, but they're not dinged. So we used other programs like IXL, and that was really hard for her because she would do these worksheets or these problems on IXL, and because of the way that she works and the way that she learns, it was actually a very destructive process for her doing those worksheets. She hated them. And so I was worried about it being the same, but it is not the same at all as IXL. So that to me was a big deal, because she was immediately motivated to do the work. Two, the assessment process of the onboarding of the student, that was another signal to me that Thinkster was really taking the time to understand our student. I had a lot of concerns about Daisy or my daughter. I had a lot of concerns about my daughter, but I had no real way to enunciate them to you, you know, without like putting all these labels on her. I just wanted them to see how smart she was, but how much she was struggling at the same time. So that assessment process really clued me in that a lot of care and consideration had gone into building your program. My daughter really loves her tutor. I don't know what the assessment process is, but I feel like we were paired with the perfect tutor for our student. She understands her mind. She understands her thought process better than I do, I think. And she also encourages her in a way that our student really responds to. So where working on homework before was a huge pain point for our student and our whole family. Working with the tutor is something she looks forward to. She gets ready for it. She's sitting there with the iPad 5 minutes before her session. She writes little notes to her tutor on her worksheets. I know she probably doesn't look at every problem, but it's adorable that they're there. You know, she feels like her tutor's there with her even when she's not. And so maybe that has a lot to do with how you pair people up, but the quality of the tutor that we have been paired with is, I couldn't have interviewed and picked one better myself. And so and then her way of working with my daughter has built her confidence back up in a way where she realizes now she is smart in math. She just learns differently than other students and needs that time and support to be able to get the concepts and do the work. So and her tutor does not care how long it takes her to do a problem. She sits and patiently waits for her to finish. She doesn't prod or poke. She just is able to get the work done at her pace, which is exactly what we needed. So to any parents considering ThinkStir, or even teachers considering ThinkStir, I would say that one of the biggest things is that the student feels well supported outside of the one-on-one sessions. All of the tools available through the interface are so easy to use and so easy to navigate and are directly lined up with the learning that is going on. So for example, if your student is working on a problem and doesn't know how to do it, they can click on a little video icon and it brings them to the exact, short, concise, perfect video to help them work through that problem. And they can pause it. If they're like, oh, now I get it, they can pause it and go right back. And being able to do that on their own is like having unlimited tutoring time. I mean, you could sit there and watch videos all day and no one's going to charge you for it. So that's one of the things that, and that said, the cost is extremely reasonable. We're a gold member, which means we have weekly one-on-one sessions with our tutor, as well as tutor assigned worksheets throughout the week that the tutor looks at and grades. So that support through the week feels like she's sitting there with us even when she's not. Super easy to navigate and locate the learning resources. Also, I would say the quality of our tutor is really high. She seems to really understand our student. She seems to have all of the exact things our student needs to feel comfortable in learning. It's not so much about what she's showing her, it's how she's handling our student while she's showing her. She's creating confidence where before there was uncertainty and anxiety, and so now she feels good even when something is difficult. So the quality of the tutor is I couldn't have interviewed and selected a tutor better myself for our daughter. And here's a result that I was not expecting from ThinkStir. Our tutor has helped us advocate for our child in the classroom. We needed to be able to communicate with her teacher about all that we were doing to bring our student up to speed. And I was struggling to keep that relationship going in school too. And through talking to our tutor, she helped me with the right language, the things to ask for, the right vocabulary to use when talking to our teacher and our administrator on how to advocate most for our student, to make sure that she's being supported at school as well as she's being supported by Thinkster. So that alone has been an enormous help. It's a very personal service. It is online, yes, but it feels like, it feels like you know us. It feels like you know our student. It feels like you know what our student needs. And that may be through the assessment tool that you use right in the beginning, but we feel very, very well supported. I am in love with Thinkster because of the relief that it has brought to our family when it comes to doing our math. It was a huge source of anxiety for us every single day. We were working so hard. We were working so hard and not feeling any reward, not getting any confidence from all of those hours and hours of work we were doing before Thinkster. And we work hard in Thinkster now, but it's a different kind of work. It's a well-supported work. It's a learning process. We're doing more than just learning math in Thinkster. We're learning how to learn. We're learning how to seek out answers. We're learning how to use tools to find answers. We're learning that we don't have to memorize everything to get to an answer, that we can find an answer even if we don't know even where to start. And that's why I love Thinkster. The way that they are supporting us in this challenge that we have. We're learning to not back down from it. We're learning that it's okay for us to need extra work, extra help, extra time. And Thinkster gives us all of those things. So that relief, that confidence that our student is feeling is the best thing. I am so grateful that we found Thinkster. My husband is so grateful that we found Thinkster. It almost overnight changed what was happening in our house with math and homework and learning and having a sense of confidence. We didn't want our fourth grader to hate school. We wanted her to love school. We wanted her to love learning, and she was sinking. She was sinking, and we needed to do something. And when we found Thinkster, it was like the clouds parted and the sun shone, and our child is happily doing math. And we've been in the program a month. And so that is huge. After years of struggling, the relief, it's great. The cost value, Thinkster over delivers in every arena, We have been with Thinkster for just a little more than a month. So as far as test scores and things like that, I can't really point to anything, but here's what I do know that is clear and tangible to me. My daughter now feels comfortable doing math. My daughter now willingly picks up the iPad to do her math work. The anxiety about doing math, even in school, is lessening every single week we spend with Thinkster. She has become confident in using Thinkster as a guide while she's doing her homework. She now goes and finds the right video to help her with the problem she's struggling with all on her own. Previously we would have had to be dragging her through, all the steps, and us as the parents, trying to explain it, probably not doing a great job, and now here we can just click on a video, and not only is it explained in clear terms, clear writing, but it's also using the exact same language they're using in school, using the exact same terms, and everything is right on par with what she's learning in class. And so those videos have really made the difference. And so that confidence to do the work, to be able to navigate through the work, even though it may take her a long time to do it. She has the confidence to sit there, get it all the way done, and then be done and be really happy about it. So that level of comfort and the reduction of anxiety when it comes to math has been the biggest result we've seen so far. And I have no doubt that her work will show the same result.